Good morning. This is Tanya. And I haven't done a video like this in a while. Um, I've been having a lot on my mind. Um, as you know, this targeting situation is a lot. And we often wonder while being targeted, like, what have we done to deserve this treatment? And you just start to evaluate your life or look over situations and try to understand, because they almost make you feel as though you are a mass killer or you are a robber or a jewelry heist or thief or something of that nature. Well, that's how my gang stalking and targeting was. It was so many people involved. It was so mass. It was so many numbers. It was hundreds of thousands of people from state to state that got involved against me. Not only was the police from state to state, not only was judges and lawyers and doctors and dentists and teachers and neighborhood watch and regular folks and Christians and non-believers and kids and whites, blacks, Asians, Caucasians, Japanese, Filipinos, rich, poor. It was all walks of life that had coming up against me. And for whatever reason, I thought I was doing good, coming out of this or whatever, because God did back it up a lot. It has been nothing like it was. It was a point. It was horrible. But then, even when God brings you out of something or stops something, you try to live, I guess, a so-called normal life, but I'll never have a normal life. And the truth is, lately I've been having these horrible flashbacks. And that's the enemy's way of keeping me in fear. Flashbacks of them stalking me, flashbacks of the harassment, flashbacks of them repeating conversations that I've had in my home with my children when I go out. Flashbacks of the poison, flashbacks of the police constantly stopping me and harassing me. Like, I've been up against every gang member there could be. I'm not even a gang member. That's like if a gang member of blood has issues with Crips. And for some reason, he gets dropped off in the Crips neighborhood, or his car break down in the Crips neighborhood. He can't call anyone. He has no money to Uber, Lyft, none of that. And he has to make it back from the Crips neighborhood all the way back to his blood turf. I am a female. I've been up against killers, thugs, gangsters, the best of the best. It's a lot. It's a lot even me telling this story because it sounds so far-fetched. It's almost as if, like, if you watch a movie You know, you watch a movie and you're like, dang, that's a heck of a movie. Dang, this movie, oh my goodness. But just so happened it's your real life. Who would have thought that you at any time in life, you would be on, your life would turn and you'd be gang stalked and targeted and harassed. There's no way I thought that. And the reason for me making this video is because I've been having these flashbacks, and it's like, you know, I went and took my daughters the other day. They went inside of, I think it was Chipotle. But, you know, every time I see police cars, I look different, because it's not just the average person that is evading police or nervous around police because you might have something on your driving license, or you might have tickets, or something like that. No, it is, my outlook on police will never be the same. I mean, never. The way they stalked and harassed me going through this whole situation, the way they came up against me, one individual, I'll never look at them different. I mean, I'll never look at them the same. I used to look at police officers like, you know, they're underpaid. They put their life on the line. You know, could you imagine being a police officer walking into a situation? You think you're going for one thing, but then it switches, and now the police has to fight for their lives. So I used to have a different mindset for them before going through this horrible harassment that they did to me. So I pulled up to Chipotle. I sat in the car. The girls got out. And when they got out and they came out, they were like, oh my gosh, Mom, the police officers, they were sitting eating their food, but they just couldn't stop staring at us so hard. And I knew instantly what that was. They couldn't stop staring at them so hard because they were in cahoots. They all know that my children are those children. My children are the children that the world covered up their molestation. The world covered up their child trafficking. CPS, Child Protective Services. It took me a while to understand why I was going through this. It took me a while to understand why it was so hardcore, these people coming up against me. I mean, I ain't nobody special. And no, I didn't have a good life. You know, my life has never been just some beautiful life. I've always struggled in areas and fallen short of God's glory. I was born a sinner. I'm a sinner. Yes, I'm a child of God, but I am a sinner and I have a problem with sin. Never been goody two-shoe. Never. But it's like, okay. So all this stuff, what happened was because the guy that I married, the white guy I married, lo and behold, was a part of a cult. He set me up with CPS to get my kids taken. The judges, lawyers, all that. Come to find out, it took me a while to crack the code. Come to find out, the CPS system, they didn't think I was coming to fight for my kids, first off. I don't know what they heard. I don't know what they had thought. But they didn't know I was a rider. Because the thing is, they intimidate so many parents. A parent might be an alcoholic. A parent might have some type of substance abuse. Parent might be a little off. Parent might not be doing exactly as great as they could or should be doing. And once they see that little bit of weakness, boy, they roll up in there and take authority. And, you know, that's the only agency I know just can take some kids out of the house. That's kidnap. And the police right there backing them up. And it was like, dang, I'm against this big old agency. This big old government agency. And they make you feel guilty, right? They make you feel guilty. They condemn you. That's what all that paperwork is for. And all the times you go to court and you fighting against the CPS system. The police is backing the CPS system. And they making you feel like you nobody. You's a nobody. You got kids and you's a nobody. You's a nobody. Right? That's how they got you. But it's a lot of parents across the world that did worse things than what you might be accused of. But they gonna put that spotlight on you because they got them kids and they're like, okay. So what the whole scheme of things was, it was a setup from the beginning. The white baby daddy that's a racist knew I had some substance abuse. He working with the CPS system. They gon' get in there, take away the kids. They got the parent that's grieved. The parent might have some substance abuse, and they like, okay, we scoring with this. Because now they taking your kids, they mentally brainwashing your children, and now they're putting your children in child slavery. Right? Because it's a one world order thing. The younger they traumatize your children, the more control the devil has over them for his one world order, for the order, the agenda that they pushing across, whether it's a sexual one, whether it's homosexuality, whatever it is, brainwashing them to hate the parent, sowing discord amongst the family instead of healing the family. So you got to kind of think like, okay, so I'm up against these people. I'm up against CPS system. I'm up against the police. And they was working shifts, like literally. I mean, I'd pull up somewhere to go, say I go to Walmart to go shopping. You would pull 2 different cars, will pull up, and they out talking, just watching me the whole time. But they're talking what shifts they work, all this stuff. Undercover workers. But the point is, okay, so it took me a while to figure this out. It is called human trafficking. CPS and the police department are the biggest human trafficking agencies that exist today. They traffic and enslave the children. They even sell the family to the dark web. That's where they're gang stalking you at. That's how they know all your business, because you're sold to the dark web. So now it's like they're watching you on camera. They're videotaping you. They're taking pictures of you. They're poisoning you. They're making bets on your life. This is a whole deep thing. And these people are paying to see this outcome that they're so betting for. But they forgot that God worked. God is a savior. God is a healer. That's what they forgot. And God can intervene at any time. And God has the last word. That's what they forgot. That's what they forgot. The amount of pressure I was under, the amount of stuff I went through, I know it's only God, his angels, that kept me. Because I should have been out here, out of the world a long time ago. Because they was trying to take me out. Period. Point with a blank. So it's just crazy. Like, this is the biggest thing. It's so crazy. I sit back and I can't even imagine. I can't. It's so hard for me to even understand the magnitude of what I passed through. The magnitude of what my children passed through. My kids still don't understand the magnitude of what happened. because they don't know everything for what it is. They just know that my mom kept moving us from place to place. My mom is me. My mom is this. My mom is that. My mom is overprotective. My mom is this. My mom. No. Once the CPS system get involved, the most crookedest place on the face of the earth, because they're child molesters, they're child predators, backed up by the police department, the one world order, policemen and all that, and ain't nothing but slave owners. Come on now, it's just it just resurfaces itself. But Child Protective Services, they went, did all that stuff, came up against me like that. It was the biggest thing. Do you know how many crooked officers came up against me? I'm talking about hundreds of thousands. I'm talking about judges and lawyers. So whoever my ex-husband is that did whatever he did to my children, the government protected him and came after me. Used me as bait. Came after me. They killed my character. They did everything possible to have the world see me in a bad light. And it wasn't that hard, because they used me, my skin complexion. They used me being uneducated. They used me having a drug or alcohol addiction at the time. And they slandered me. And they kept the entire world focused on me, belittling and trailer tramping on me. That's why as more and more people got involved to come up against me. No one asked me, are you okay? Do you and your kids need anything? It was so many people against me. It was as if almost the entire world was against me. But God still had his hand on me. He let me see it all. He let me see each and every person and thing that was against and after. He even seen I was against me. This was abnormal. What I passed through, abnormal. Just like I seen God is boss, they seen God is boss. We all learned. So it's just crazy, like, this hasn't stopped. This, this is what they're doing here in America, United States of America. They're trying to belittle the parent and make the world think the parent is X, Y, and Z, when really they have an entire multi-million, billion-dollar business going on by brainwashing and selling your children and your family over to the dark web to accomplish their one world order. You know how many pedophiles it is? I might be a lot of things, but that ain't it. Do you know how many pedophiles there is? This goes back to child porn. This goes back to pedophilia. This goes back to, do you know they orchestrate so much stuff? The CPS and the police working together ain't nothing but a demonic system. Do you know that they're molesting children and recording it and selling it and watching it? And people are making bets on your children, betting for your children. Do you know that the kidnaps, when they kidnap a child or when they do kidnaps and stuff like that, they've already set it up into play? The CPS and police department. Do you know how deep this is? Do you know the system is designed to take your children from you, enslave your children, sell them for their convenience? And if you have a drug or alcohol problem, they do. That's why they do you so dirty when you go through CPS and you go to court and they say all those horrible things and they try to make you do 10 things at one time, knowing it's going to be extremely hard for you to get those things doing because you're sitting in your self-pity because they letting the world and everybody know you ain't nothing as a parent. Wake up, people. It's all a setup. Yes, there's some good cases that they do, the small cases, because they try to cover their butt here and there occasionally. But it is a billion-dollar business. They sell children for wicked purposes. You have to fight against the core. They didn't think I was going to fight. They said, we got this alcoholic, we got this, we about to belittle her. These kids is ours, and we about to do what we want to do accordingly. We already got bidders for these kids. They're going to be part of our demonic system. They didn't know I was a child of God, and I'm going to turn to God every time. They didn't know that my kids have a prayerful mother. They didn't know I was going to go in the spirit and fight in the spirit and war in the spirit and pray for mine. They didn't know that. They didn't know that I was going to get on my knees and tell God, look, God, I know this is a lot. I don't know what it is, God, but help me and my children. They weren't expecting that. And along the way, I did a lot of wrong and I found out a lot. And I fell short of the glory of God a couple times. And he still pulled me through. Not because of how good I am, but because of how good he is. He knew I was going to fail before I got started. He knew where I was going to fall short at. But he still showed up. He knew I couldn't beat them on my own. He knew I was going to fall short in a lot of areas. But my message is to tell you, do not be stupid. Do you know when they go out, when I first got out here to where I'm at in Dallas, I'd never been to Dallas in my life. I never thought that I'm one of those homebody type of town people. I like to be in my hometown because I know everything and, know the people around me and that type of thing. I've never been pushed out my comfort zone like I did going through this gang stalking. But when I first got here, the neighborhood we stayed in, you could just tell the atmosphere of the neighborhood was horrible. The demonic energy was still up against me. It wasn't as heavy, but it was still up against me. And I had to watch with a spiritual eye, a physical and a spiritual eye. I had to watch. When I would send my kids to school, I would notice, and I send them to work, I would notice that there would constantly be a group of cars and guys and people following my daughters. Because they was trying to physically traffic them. But God kept waking me up and letting me be sensitive in the spirit. My kids didn't understand why. Even my son didn't understand why I would say certain things or do certain things. What I'm saying is that each and every targeted individual, or if you've been gang stalked or harassed, look, you have to go to God and ask God to help you. You have to go to God. I don't know how many, if you're a believer or non-believer, I don't know exactly your entire situation. But you have to go to God and pray to God and ask him to help you. Help relieve you from the situation. Give you a break. Help you out. This system is horrible and it is demonic. It's sad that we do have to go through this, or we have been through this. But it's not us that are evil. Yes, we might have our hang-ups. Yes, this and this and that. No, we are not perfect. No one here on this earth is perfect. But these are old entities, ancient, year-old entities inside of these people that is doing this demonic stuff. And they're grouped up. And the only way they can pass their agenda is through people. They stand for everything wicked. And they are on one accord. I'm wondering why was it so much pressure on me? Why was I going through this? Why did no one want to talk to me? Why this? Why that? Why was it so intense? Why this? Why that? It was because I was up against the demonic beast system. People that do bad things to children. People that do bad things to adults. And they were the accusers, accusing me of everything, all this stuff. And then the world sits back, oh yeah, she's this, she's that. Then the family members is talking and all this stuff. It's like, dang, y'all talking about me. Is any of y'all praying for me? Because these whole group of people is after me. And y'all agreeing with these people instead of getting on y'all's knees and praying. Because prayer helps and prayer works. I'm trying to explain to you what it is I'm passing through. And what's really going on. But you my family, and you coming up against me with them. But that's just how cold the devil is. That's just how cold the devil is. The devil use your mama, your granny against you. Your good, sweet, old, loving granny against you. So it's kind of like, how do I heal from this? How do my kids heal from this? Because our life has not been normal. And I know this is a bigger purpose than what I know of. How do I get out of this thing to go ahead and live whatever years God have for me peacefully and loving? How do I get this financial break? Because I know it's something owed to me and my kids. There's no way that me and my children passed through this in vain. There's no way that we went through all of this and nothing beautiful is going to come from it. Something beautiful. It was too much pain. Something beautiful has to progress from this. Sometimes I sit and I listen to some of you guys' stories, and I know my channel has been shadow banned since I started it, because I've been on here for too long and I make too many videos and talk about so much real stuff, and I know who I am and I know who came up against me, so I know that they have shadow banned me for a long time. So my videos really don't get anywhere or get to anybody. They don't pick up any traction. Which is fine. If I'm able just to come vent every once in a while, that's fine too. But sometimes I sit and I listen to other targeted individuals, and whether they have a low count of, subscribers like I do, or if they have a little higher count of subscribers like I do. I sit and listen to their stories, and a lot of it is very similar. It just goes back to the Bible, and it goes back to Pharaoh's army and how he enslaved certain people. And then you are called to set the people free, set the captives free. A lot of us are called to set the captives free. It's just in the Bible. And even though it's drastic and dramatic and it happened, your gang stalking story or situation, and it's unbelievable and unrealistic and all this stuff, and you can't believe what you've seen, what you've been through, all that. Yeah, you have been chosen. You have been chosen to set the captives free. Because God gave you the knowledge and the insight to see actually what it is that's going on. So you've been chosen to set the captives free. And you might look at yourself like, hey, I'm not this and that. I'm not holier than thou. This and this and that. No, but you are a warrior. You are a warrior. No, you might not be a goody two-shoes. No, this and this and that. No. You might fall short of God's glory, but you're going to keep trying until you get it right. And you are a warrior. You are an intercessor. You are who he has chosen to stand up for the people that can't see or cannot decipher what is really going on. Sometimes I listen to the stories and it hurts so bad, because it's like, gosh, they're going through the same thing that I passed through not too long ago. And it's just painful, because it's like you're going through all this stuff. Everyone's against you. No one is reaching out a hand to help you. And you have to figure some things out. And really what it is that we get so complacent in what's happening to us and what's going on and what we've seen and this and this and that, that we should only be focused on God and him helping us, or what does he want us to do. And, I listen to a lot of targeted individuals, and a lot of them say, I'm not religious. I don't go to church. I don't believe in God. This and this and that. Blah, blah, this, blah, blah. And that's fine. That's fine. Yes, have I been mad at God? For sure I have. Oh, yes. Have I not understood why he allowed a lot of things? And of course. But I know that his thinking ain't my thinking. I know that ultimately he knows best for everybody involved. So I have to know that much. Even though it's hard, I have to know that much. What he says goes, because he's King of Kings. And the people that don't believe in him or whatever, that's on you. And like a lot of people say, oh, I don't believe in God. And you see the people that believe in God going crazy. A lot of people do have challenges that believe in God. You know why? Because the demonic system is at their mindset. The demonic system is at them every day, trying to get them to forfeit and trying to get them to give up on God and the promises that God has for their life. Yes, it's still a battle. The devil has hit you and beat you all kind of ways, but loose, he gonna attack that mind, of course. And you gotta fight for that. You gotta fight for everything. You gotta fight. Child of God has to fight. Not physically. Sometimes you might have to bop somebody every once in a while. Just saying. But I don't condone that, because you're supposed to turn the other cheek. Sometimes that can be hard for us, but just saying. But no, you have to war in the spirit. You have to get on your hands and knees. You have to pray to God. You have to read the Bible. You have to get in tune. You got to fight. You got to fight for it all, because the devil there to steal, kill. He's coming there to steal and kill and destroy him and his workers. And they ain't that nice. So you got to fight. You got to go back to God, the creator of all things. And you got to war and fight and ask him to fight for you and come to him with an open heart and lay it on the line and give it to him. The world is going to call you crazy. Non-believers is going to call you crazy. And that's okay. Because you know what? You might just be a little bit crazy. But you know what? When you get in the war and you fight in the war of the spirit, you're going to gain that victory. So it don't matter what they're calling you. Don't really matter. Sometimes you got to get funkadelish. Sometimes you got to get a little cray-cray to go on and get up in there and get that. Because it's old to you. But you got to fight for it. We been judged. You're a child of God, you been judged. They've been judging you since you was a kid. At school, elementary school. They've been judging you at your grandma's house. They've been the family members. You've been judged everywhere you go. So if it's a non-believer judging you some more and laughing at you in your face and talking about you at the same, go on. They think they smart any damn way and they dumber than a box of rocks. I don't care how many degrees they got. I don't care how much money they got. Because they dumber than a box of rocks if they don't believe that God, Jesus Christ, is king. If they don't believe in Jesus Christ, God, and the Holy Spirit, they dumber than what I thought. They not that same. So yeah, I just thought I would just vent, It's, life is crazy though. Life is so crazy. I've been, taking care of my mom, and me and my mom never really had the best relationship. It's a lot of things that transpired in our relationship, but it's my mom, and I always love my mom. And I'm gonna always love my mom. I might not agree with things that she did or said or certain situations, but I get it. I get it. And, but I was just looking at a video yesterday. I got a lot of pictures and videos of me and my kids in like from years ago. Like I just keep a lot of video. And this video had popped up. It was 10 years ago, actually. It was my mom, her husband, and me. And we went and took a walk, and I was recording them. But I just look back how far, like, I came. And I look back at how active they were. They were so full of life and so active. And right now, they both are struggling. Life is just crazy because, like I could sit and talk about betrayal and all this stuff. And my mom betrayed me on my journey. And this happened, that happened. And she's been married to her husband 20-some years. Since their health problems, they've been separated, split it up. And she really didn't work a whole lot to get like a nice retirement or anything, you know. Her lifestyle was different then. His was too, but what saved him was he went fought in the war. I don't even think he fought, but I think he was part of the army, or he was a Vietnam vet, whatever. So he got that. That helped him along his life. So he gained those pensions and stuff, that money. And so he saved quite a bit. And so when she came to stay, I'm like trying to talk to him, like, you know, because I am a targeted individual, gang stalked individual. You know, it's hard for us to really get a hold of money and keep money. Um, so I didn't mind her staying because it's my mom. Like, I want to take care of my mom. And I'm trying to tell him, like, okay, well, she really doesn't have any money, but we're already struggling. So she's gonna be here. She's gonna need, like, you know, at least $500 or $600 a month, you know, because she already has medical bills she has to pay like a percentage on every time she goes to the doctor. They charge her $30, $40. Then they charge her $30 for her medications. So, and then the back and forth is going to need gas in here. She might need clothes. She might need diapers. She does need diapers. She need this, that. And her eating habits, she likes to eat out. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to be rude and say, okay, she needs $1,500 a month, because then if I have a teenager kid or whoever staying home could help and get paid a little money, you know, let's be realistic. Okay. Um, so that didn't work out quite well. And then he said, then I know they had joint accounts. So I went and got the paperwork so then I could be, you know, talk on her end and go get money for her. Power of attorney. And so she would say, go get money. And I went got it a couple times. And, you know, he said, she didn't work for that. That's not her money. Da 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 da. When I met her, she didn't have a job. Da da. And it just, you got to be careful of who you marry. You got to be careful of who you deal with, just in life in general. Like, you know, her walker itself, because she has Parkinson's. There's only one walker that is designed for a Parkinson person. That walker is $700 just itself. Her hospital bed, $1,000 just for itself. Her diapers and wipes and pads, you know, monthly, that's $100 just within itself. You know, certain things cost. You know, you have to buy pads for the bed so she's just not peeing through stuff, and you're constantly washing clothes, like toilet paper. You know, it's just because they can't change themselves. She can't change herself. So it's kind of a lot. But, you know, we don't have enough money to go put her into a home. And I don't want to really put her in a home because I don't know what will happen to her. And her cognitive is not really there. So it's best that she is around family. Her husband, you know, to his defense, he is kind of not all the way there himself from whatever he's struggling through. But it would have been nice for him to set aside, you know, he's such a, just a horrible person. Just the way he belittles people. Um, you know, my car note, I have a car note. My car note is $700 a month. And she had a car that he wrecked. So he had 3 cars. He wrecked a car. He got the check for it. Instead of him giving her the car to keep and letting her do whatever she wanted to do, he came up with a million reasons of why not. You know, and it hurt because it was like, okay, I could go take my car back in and keep this car. And, you know, if I had to pay her, you know, $500 a month, the $700 a month until I buy the car, or whatever the situation could have been. But, you know, just life is a trip. Life is such a trip, you know. Sometimes if things aren't given to you, you got to go in there and get them yourself. You know, it's sad. You know, their family tried to come out here and was like, oh, she on Section 8. They used that and they tried to belittle. They did it in a belittling fashion. And it's so funny because, you know, and I said and I asked God because his children are biracial. And all he can say is, my kids is biracial. My daughters is like, my daughters is this. They not black like you. This, that. They own this. They got this. They got that. And it's like, you know, if I didn't go through all this stuff, no telling what my life would truly have turned out to be. It's like, it's just crazy. Like, it's crazy, you know, and it's like, I often wonder to God, why couldn't God send one of his biracial daughters that he talk about so much? Why he couldn't send them through the stuff I went through? Why they couldn't have went through that? Why they high yellow ass couldn't pass through that? That's just too much like right, huh? You know, that's how I think, like, y'all couldn't have last what I went through. Y'all couldn't have fathomed what I went through. Y'all couldn't have made it. Y'all couldn't have, there's no way. Your little pretty self, and to me, they're not even pretty like that. But since we gonna say because you're light skinned and you got a certain grade of hair that you pretty, your little pretty self couldn't make it around the block 3 times what I went through. But he came out here belittled the whole time, was very belittling. You know, you on Section 8, that's why this, that's why that, that's why this, that's why that, that's why this, that's why that. You know, and it was just kind of like, okay. Okay. Even a person on Section 8, you still got bills to pay. You still got bills to pay. You still got stuff you got to pay. Still stuff everyday expenses. You know, and it's crazy because in COVID, I kind of lucked up on the Section 8 going through COVID. But Section 8 for sure is not a flex because it's part of the government. It's part of the whole system thing that we're going through as targeted individuals, gang-stalked individuals. I believe that if you are a gang-stalked or targeted individual and you are on Section 8, I believe they record you. Yes, I believe that whatever house you're in, they record you. It's a government thing, but they will have to answer for this. They will pay for it. Everything that I came across, went across, everything they sent me through. That was the biggest, I went through the biggest hate crime there is in humanity besides Jesus Christ. I went through one of the biggest hate crimes. I guarantee you, I've been through the biggest hate crime. And it was because of my skin complexion. It was because I'm a child of God. They sent me through the biggest hate crime. The biggest hate crime. Because a white woman wouldn't go through this. No. A biracial mixed girl wouldn't go through this. And if she did, somebody going to be trying to help her. They thought because I was big and black, uneducated, they could send me through this, which they sent me through it. But it's a flip side to everything. It's a flip side to everything. That's what I will say. It's a flip side to everything. Be careful who you treat wrong. Be careful who you open your mouth and talk down about. Be careful who you laugh at and think things is funny or their life is a joke. Be careful. Be careful. Because God got a real funny way of turning and switching things around. A real funny way. Because he's the King of Kings. I know for a shadow of a doubt that me and my children didn't go through what we went through just to be going through it. And I don't hate anyone. My heart is hurt because I don't understand how the people that I loved and cared about belittled me, came up against me with people they don't even know. Instead of coming to talk to me, or anything. That hurt a lot. I took a lot of losses. It hurt a lot. It hurt a lot. It definitely hurt. But I'm not perfect. God is a good God. He's a restoring God. God is a man of honor. Well, he's not a man, but he is a entity of honor. He stands for honor, love, wisdom, war, kingdom, authority. And yeah, yeah, it's been a lot. It's been real. It's been real. It's been real. It's been real. I don't know why God allowed the world to shine a bright light on my life, but he did. I'll probably never truly understand it, but it's not me, it's his will.